One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
We're active in about 15 campuses, and we're growing very, very quickly. And keep in mind, this is not just a flash in the pan movement. We're going to become an institution to give them the power and the confidence to stand up and let their voice be heard. I started this organization when I was 18 years old. I decided not to go to college. I didn't get in my dream school, which was the United States Military Academy at West Point. I have this idea to galvanize and motivate the future youth of this country around a core set of ideas, not just political parties or politicians. And the ideas are really America's the greatest country in the history of the world. The Constitution is the greatest political document ever written, and free enterprise is the most assured way to lift people out of poverty and create prosperity for all. Those are the three big ideas. And I think that's something that can win. We as Christians are called to go into the public arena to correct error with truth. So I go to college campuses and there's a lot of error. We're all sinners. We are all live in error. I'm far more interested in what God wants of me than what I want from God.
I have to say this without getting emotional, but I'm very proud of my husband. And I know many of you are too. You have worked so hard. And I know a lot of you have seen, obviously, his videos on TikTok and all the stuff he does on campus. But no one gets to see him from my angle except for myself and our children. And the sacrifices that he made this year, he's amazing. I'm very blessed.
And I would not have been able to do any of it without Erica. And that's the real truth. I'll tell you what. You are here as a grassroots response to the top-down revolution happening in this country. I want our Turning Point USA students to receive a round of applause. These are the freedom fighters of America.
And the media said that Turning Point could never run a ground game. They weren't experienced. They didn't know Charlie, right?
This is the greatest generational realignment since Woodstock. This generation is the most conservative generation that we have seen in well over 50 years, and the numbers show it.
What young people especially are screaming at is they say, give me a structure that I can live my life by. And especially with young men, more challenging of them, more saying, you know what? Honestly, I'm not going to talk down to you. Stop being a boy and become a man. You want to learn what that means? Come to church and I'll tell you what it means to become a man. Because we have the greatest story ever told. What can I do to save the country? You answer that question every single day because you are doing the work to save this beautiful republic. You are doing something that is bigger than you.
If everything completely goes away, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my man.
That was a piece that Turning Point had put together, and I just thought it was so awesome that I wanted to start today's show. Sorry for getting here a little bit late. Finally, all the technical difficulties have been seemingly worked out. We should be live on Rumble, YouTube, and X at this point simultaneously, which is what I was been striving for. So next week we should be back to our 2-a-day schedule, which I will endeavor to do. Still got some work to do on a new studio, but we'll get there. You know, I had this idea today, what I was going to talk about. And it was about, it dovetailed off of what we heard Glenn Beck saying yesterday about rage. And watching things play out today, my rage has changed. My rage has changed to more of a point of extreme optimism. Yesterday when you heard Glenn Beck talk, he said after he heard Charlie had been killed, he had only experienced that feeling twice, right after 9/11 when they told him get to work, and then last night or yesterday. This feeling I have today, I immediately realized, hey, you've felt this many, many times. See, the feeling I have today, which I'm going to impart upon you guys, is one of victory. What I've been seeing over the last 24 and 48 hours, even through tears and anger, I'm like, something is completely different. Something is broken. I have seen hundreds, as well as you have, and maybe you've even participated in it, hundreds of people get fired. People on the right are calling people out for celebrating Charlie's murder, and those people are being fired. And we're not just talking Joe at Starbucks. We're talking people at networks. They're getting chopped. Nope, not going to have it. And I'm thinking, pinch myself, what year is this? Is this really 2025? Because for the last 5 or 6 years, we had to duck and hide. We were the ones who were getting plucked and deleted and go away. And through all the anger, I'm not sure a lot of people pulled back and look at the big picture at this point. And you're like, you see what's happening? It is like the entire pendulum completely flipped. I was talking to Robin about it. I used those very words. I'm like, is this weird or what? What in the hell is happening? Because you, many of you, myself, we have been reporting. We have been showing people this person is something wrong with them. They should not be able to converse with the rest of us. They are celebrating death. Get these demons out of our faces. And not just getting them deleted off of X. I don't think many of them are going to get deleted off of X. But then they've been losing their jobs. Over and over. There are a few people. One guy I watched his video. He's reported like 500 people. And out of those 500 people, like 15 or 20 of them lost their jobs. And you may be thinking, that's not a big number. It's a huge number. Because that was just his scalpage. How many of you got it? Don't stop. It's working. So you're saying to yourself, Barry, what is that feeling that you said you've recognized many, many times, which may be different than what you're seeing? And I'm telling you, having played sports, this is the feeling when you look at your opponent and then you realize some point during the game, you're done. I'm in your head and I'm going to be kicking your butt for the next 15 or 20 minutes, unless your coach takes you out. I am going to continue to pound you. I own you. I am going to make your day absolutely miserable. You're going to feel me popping you. You're going to suck dirt. You're going to be in pain. I am coming for you for the next, looks like the scoreboard says, I'm going to be here for the next 30 minutes. And I'm just going to keep coming, and I feel it. You know, a lot of people call that momentum, adrenaline. But unless you've faced off with an opponent that you can see in their eyes, submission is ahead. Many of you may watch MMA and you realize somebody's tapping out. I can't take it anymore. Oh, no, please stop. I can't go. I'm done. That's the feeling I'm seeing over the last day or so. It's completely different than we've seen on the left. We are actually seeing people retreat. We are seeing people change teams. We are seeing people, no mas. I saw one video of some guy who said something crazy about Charlie, and he was screaming because over the phone he had gotten fired. I posted it on my X, and the guy's screaming. And I'm like, but I thought you were a big tough dude. I thought you were the big one who made the X video or the TikTok video talking all kinds of crap. Now you've been reduced to crying. There's no crying in social media. There's no crying in politics. Now I'm seeing politicians. Hey, can we change or flip the script? They don't have anywhere to go. This tidal wave is coming, it's rising, and all of a sudden they realize, oh crap, what did we do? Now I'm not saying that any specific politician had any hand in what happened to Charlie Kirk. But I am saying collectively they did. You were the ones who kept saying fascist, Nazi, homophobe. You were the ones who kept saying all this stuff. And so when you hear somebody or watch somebody write on a bullet, hey fascist, catch this. If you haven't heard, that was on one of the cartridges. Where did these young kids hear the word fascist from? How did they ever come up with the idea that, I don't know, people could be fascist in 2025? Well, you know, let me walk you down memory lane.
When I heard it, I was in the midst of, building for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom. They have to use tents on the lawn for President Xi when he comes over. If it rains, it's a wipeout. And so I was with the architects and with design. It's going to be incredible. And they came in, they said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, what do you mean dead? Charlie Kirk was shot. And they thought he was dead because it was so horrific, And they said, dead? And it was like, I just told these people, get out, just go, this is the worst thing. This was so bad for our country.
Now, as I walk through this, you'll get to the memory lane part. But that was President Trump, and I've got a number of cuts from that on him on Fox and Friends this morning. And if you read between the lines what he just said, it struck him so bad, get out. And I'm sure it wasn't a nicety. Get out. What has happened? That was the shock. And now comes the other side, and it's absolutely freaking these people out. They're seeing the repercussions of what happened. I'm going to jump ahead because I want to show you this first. You want to see people looking for a bunker? You want to see people looking for a way out here? This is it.
And the other really important question is, what happens inside the White House? What do they do? What do they do with that understandable sorrow and anger? And I'll just show something that Stephen Miller said online. He said there is an ideology that has steadily been growing in this country which hates everything that is good, righteous, and beautiful, and celebrates everything that is warped, twisted, and depraved. It is an ideology at war with family and nature. The fate of millions depends upon the defeat of this wicked ideology. The fate of our children, society, our civilization hinges on it. Now,
before Dana goes on here, do you agree with that? I 100% agree with that. Everything he said right there. There is an ideology that has steadily been growing in this country which hates everything good and righteous. Many times on this show, I've talked about up is down, down is up, bad is good, white is black. They've done everything they could possibly do and more. And I thought they were going to come back strong. But I'm looking in the eyes of these people and I'm like, oh, they realize they're in big trouble. They realize at this point, the momentum has clearly shifted. The momentum has skewed so much in little as 48 hours that they're left flat-footed. Doesn't mean they're out of the fight. Anybody can somehow come back, but with no leadership, it's going to be very, very hard. There is nothing that they can do politically. In fact, I don't know if you've been following what's going on because it's outside of the purview of Charlie. John Thune has now said they are going to apply the nuclear option. Told Chuck Schumer, go pound sand. We are now going to just make this a 51-person vote instead of 60 so that we can ram through Trump's appointees. That happened this morning. What do you think President Trump did while he was at that Yankees game and had all this time to think? He is terrifying them right now because now they know, he knows he can put the boot on the neck. Just like you know. And I'm not talking from a violent perspective. You guys have already been doing that. Now you got to get motivated. You shouldn't be in tears right now. You should feel the strength of being able to apply what Charlie died for. Charlie died for you to have a voice, and now that voice is just running rampant and stomping out all of the idiots. And now even CNN is terrified.
Could be Stephen Miller again, understandably hurt and angry. This is also a person who has a lot of power, and the question is whether or not they're going to listen to Spencer Cox or they're going to be seeking retribution.
Absolutely. It's a decision-making moment. And listen, even this morning...
Okay, I got to stop right there. Again, going back to my sports analogy, they don't know what's coming. They just admitted it. Is he going to do this or is he going to do that? When you're in that position, whether it's in boxing or playing football, where you have no idea what your opponent is going to do, yeah, that's when you really, really are in trouble. When nothing you've done, nothing on this field looks like what you're prepared for, now you're in a completely different realm, and I'm like, I didn't see this on film. What the hell is this guy doing? You're in big trouble. You are in big trouble if all of a sudden, in the game, you watch something and you played the same playbook for 5, 6, 10 years, and now all of a sudden your opponent ain't playing that crap anymore. We're not going to take it. You did something so egregious, so heinous, that you caused people to go, I'm done, let's go. See, none of us watching were on that plane that went down in Pennsylvania 24 years ago when they said, let's roll. But now you are on that plane, metaphorically speaking, let's roll. And they're not used to this. They're used to the pansy Republicans, the cowering Republicans. Sit back and watch what we do to you Republicans. And they ain't ready for this. I don't think there's a lot of Republicans who are ready for this. Because now you're seeing people from both sides, and I say both sides, political sides of the aisle, who are coalescing and going, nah, no, I'm done. Somebody asked me yesterday, might have been Robin, why is this causing such an uproar? Quote, it's just Charlie Kirk. Well, I don't think it was Robin. It's just Charlie Kirk. It wasn't anybody of huge prominence. And I have an answer for that. This isn't Charlie Kirk that's causing all this. This is our generation's John F. Kennedy. Other people have been done in and other things have happened, but think about when's the last time in your lifetime you saw somebody get taken out the way Charlie did. That video went everywhere, and everybody saw it simultaneously, and it played over and over and over, and the weakest among us went, oh, hell no. This guy wasn't fighting. He wasn't doing back at you. He was talking on a microphone, and you blew up his neck. And people who aren't used to seeing that, I don't ever want to see that again. I don't ever want to feel that again. Like, oh, my God, what did they just do? See, people aren't used to seeing that. Cops, EMTs, soldiers, and they're out there describing it today. But the average person will never see that live. The closest we came to it was July 13th. And we're like, whew, okay. But here were people turning on X and going, oh my God, what is that? You took a man out merely because he was talking? Charlie Kirk immediately, whether you feel this way or not, because of the visual aspect of what people saw, put him in the category of high-profile on-camera assassinations. RFK, JFK, MLK, CK is now in that realm of visuality. You will never forget it. Now when you say his name, it probably won't be of him on stage at Turning Point. When somebody says Charlie Kirk's name, it's boom. You're immediately going to see that replay. And by the way, if you haven't seen it at this point, you probably can't find it. Maybe you can. But now it has taken on, it's ignited a movement. And so people, normal people, not the crazies, normal people saw that and went, no, we can't have that. Something flipped right there. You could just see it. It ignited a firestorm of hell no. There was hell no all over X yesterday. I'm not on Facebook, so I can't attest to Facebook, but people have had it. This is not what people do. He is now going to be thought of in the same realm as any other civil rights person. And Glenn Beck's going to expound on that in a second. This is monstrous, and these people, because you've never seen it, they've never seen it. And because you've never seen it and haven't been able to react to it and come back from it, they've never seen it and been able to come back from it. This is completely new to them. So now, as I mentioned that football analogy, they're looking at a playbook and they're like, we don't know what's going to happen. And they're thinking the worst. They're thinking and probably hoping that, something's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be that kind of something. I think now it's just going to be a big old can of whoop ass.
It's been, maybe 24 hours since lawmakers went back home for the weekend. I've already heard from some House Democrats, particularly those who try to work in a bipartisan way, have actually pleaded to work with the president on some policy issues. They went back home and immediately constituents who know their record pointing fingers at them saying, wow, it is your fault. It is your party's fault, Democrats' fault for this. So,
new playbook. I'm going to go home and have a town hall, and my own people are like, this is you. This is on you. They don't. Imagine being AOC or some of these other nuts and going back, and the people who supposedly love you are now going, it's you. You caused this. How do you react? How do you react at that point? You can't say, all the things that you've said you can no longer take back. That's the other problem. There's video everywhere of you saying crazy stuff. And your votes are dependent upon you keeping these people crazy. So how do you un-Hitlerize people? See, they backed themselves into a corner where it's no longer political. You can't un-Hitlerize. Well, he's not that bad anymore. What happened? Oh, we're not going to call him that. Just forget that. You can't. You pushed all in on this pot, and you didn't ever think you'd have to get off that, vocabulary you were using. And now you have no idea what to do.
It is absolutely being felt. And I think, I would say Speaker Mike Johnson has really tried to tone down the temperature because, man, were his colleagues so angry. House Republicans were pointing fingers immediately at the press and Democrats.
They were doing that publicly.
Yes, doing it very publicly. And he has more to do to try and quell down that temperature. But the tensions are there, and the worry about even coming back to Capitol Hill next week.
They're worried about coming back on Monday. Mommy, what do we do? Not our problem. Keep the heat on. Whatever you're doing is obviously working. Keep it going. Let these people know, not going to take it anymore, including you people in the media. You can just look at their posture and their facial expressions. They don't know what to say at this point. It's got to be really, eye-opening, frightful to think that you have done all this for so many years and brainwashed and MK Ultra'd all kinds of people, and now everybody's looking at you going, you did this. You made this guy blow up this other guy. Shame on you. Absolutely shame on you. Shame on me for not turning off my phone.
Is very much at the forefront.
We're going to talk about, I think, and I'm going to get to the president in a second. The reason why it was remarkable is that's the kind of thing that we were used to, like when we started covering politics. Yeah. And we don't see it that much in current time.
There you go. There, she just said it. I don't know how old Dana is, but she's not a young spring chicken. And she's like, yeah, I remember we used to see this back in the 60s or whatever, and we haven't seen this for a while, which means you're unprepared. You just walked into an offense that now is running some mutant spread option, and you don't have the tools to stop it. We haven't seen this before. Hey, get used to it. And again, without a leader to help them through it, you know the word. You know the word. They're effed. And you can just look in their face.
For lots of reasons. He was asked whether this is a watershed moment, and he said yes. But he was clear that what he was talking about, he hopes is going to happen, might not happen, and we could be headed down a path that is, God forbid, more dangerous.
But he said we, as Americans, have the agency to make that determination.
Yes. So important. Such an important message from the governor. The president was on Fox this morning for a very, very lengthy discussion, like an hour-long discussion. And they asked him, how do we fix this country? How do we get back together? Here's part of that discussion.
How do we fix this country? How do we come back together?
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime. They don't want to see crime.
Worried about the border.
They're saying, we don't want these people coming in. We don't want you burning our shopping centers. We don't want you shooting our people in the middle of the street. The radicals on the left are the problem. And they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy.
I just want to reiterate, this is on Fox, and he is being asked on Fox, how do we come back together? And his answer, Kristen, was the throwing a rhetorical grenade on there. And because facts are...
A rhetorical grenade. Nice choice of words there, eh? A rhetorical grenade. Boom. You see, this is not what they're used to. When you've got an opponent on their knees, you have two choices. You either finish them or you let them regroup. And President Trump is not the type of guy who's going to let them regroup. That's what they're afraid of. He is going to come at them with everything they possibly can right now because, let's face it, what happened with Charlie Kirk is giving the Republicans, especially MAGA, a whole lot of currency, a whole lot of street cred at this point to finish the Democrat Party. And it looks at this point like some of the other Republicans, i.e. John Thune, are realizing this and going, this is our opportunity. Now, I know some people think, well, this guy just died a few days ago, and you're already moving on and trying to figure out how we can move forward and seize on this opportunity. And I want to make sure you really understand clearly. I mourned. I was upset. I cried. Just like I would if anybody in my family would. But I also know, and then Robin was asking me, she's like, you're really ready to go for it? I'm ready. Because now I know my assailant, now I know my opponent is ailing. And so I can't possibly mourn and step back and allow these people to regroup. We don't need them to have another leader. We don't want them to have another leader. We don't want other people to see us reticent. We don't want other people to see us weak. And of all people, President Trump is someone who understands that, and that's why they're afraid.
Here. He is not wrong that there has been radicalization on the left. And anybody you talk to who is on the right, either in elected office or somebody like Charlie Kirk, they see it on their social media feeds, they hear it. But it is also true for people on the left. They're getting it from those on the right. And it has resulted in some pretty unfortunate violence. Just one example, Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, when a person went into their house, hit him on the head with the...
Nancy Pelosi's husband with the guy who was in his underwear? You're bringing that up as your example? Now I know you're really in trouble.
Hammer, after being there for a long time, he was later convicted. He told the jury he believed the media was lying about former President Trump. We've heard that come from, very high places in the Republican Party. He posted links on his Facebook page to multiple videos produced by the MyPillow CEO, falsely alleging that the 2020 election was stolen.
All right. Now I want to stop that right there. If you really, really, really are truly interested in reaching across the aisle and doing away with any animosity and treat people like equals, y'all have got to come off that and let us discuss it. You see, they've built their party, they've built the media based upon things that you couldn't talk about. They will assail you. It's a pillar. There was an insurrection. He did lose the election without any issue. These are pillars of what they have spewed for 5-6 years without any type of conversation. If you bring that up, they say you're crazy. There wasn't an insurrection. Oh, yes, it was an insurrection. Well, until we can have that conversation, you're stuck. If we're not even allowed to talk about these third rail issues that you people have thrust upon us and told us to shut up about, it wasn't like we could discuss it and come to some agreement and have a disagreement. We're not even allowed to talk about it. It's debunked. It's wrong. It's alleged. It's a lie. Well, there's like millions of people who believe something happened with those machines. There's millions and millions and millions. And you're saying, don't even talk about it. So you might as well have fired the rifle yourself. Hey, that insurrection, I don't think it was an insurrection. Oh, don't want to talk about it. You're one of those maggots. You see, when you keep trying to shut people down, is because you don't have the ability to converse with other people who have different opinions. Why is it that my opinion is worse or not worse, less than yours, Dana? Some of us don't believe that we should, have taken the jab. I didn't, Robin didn't, but we were told you can't even discuss that. You guys built up these walls. You built your house on these pillars, and now these pillars are crumbling, and you can't do anything about it because you won't allow discussion. And yesterday, everybody who got fired because they wouldn't take it, everybody who voted and realized something ain't right, every single person who saw what happened on January 6th and had a different opinion, we were all told to shut up. And yesterday, or rather Wednesday, you told Charlie Kirk to shut up in a very emphatic way, and it made all of us realize we're done being quiet. We're not taking your crap anymore. And then you come on television and say it again. Shut up. That's how it is. You're not allowed to discuss it. This is a real thing. Joe Biden won. Don't talk about it. That's when you realize they got nothing. And they're terrified at this point. Paul Pelosi? Doing his underwear? Huh? That's was your rebuttal? Crazy.
These things have consequences on both sides of the aisle, not just the political
Of course they have consequences on both sides of the aisle. I think, look, this is all the larger conversation that you guys are just having, which is how do you tone it down, as we heard from the Utah governor. And Donald Trump's rhetoric this morning talking about left radicals and that they're a problem is not the answer to toning it down in terms of...
Nah. See, you don't get to call that anymore. You're going back to the old playbook that you thought worked, and you can see with her body language, she realizes it ain't working. See, what you should have said, and very easily to say, is now that this has happened, we should reach across and allow people to voice their opinion and understand, to have a conversation. Bring your facts that you believe, I'll bring my facts, and we may never agree, but at least I understand where you're coming from. That's bringing civility back. Not telling me in the same newscast you can't even talk about this. Then you haven't changed. Guys, if you ever had some problem with your wife and she said you're leaving the toilet seat up or something else and you're like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll change. And then you do it again. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll change. She sits back and goes, you keep saying you're changed, but you ain't changing. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Telling people, don't talk about this. It's already been concluded and debunked. And no. You want to stop this? You want to save your party? You better start discussing.
What we just heard again from the Utah governor. I do think, the big question is what actually happens from here. And it was a jarring moment for so many people in this White House, in this administration.
Yeah, she was talking. She forgot the rest of the sentence. It was a jarring moment for so many people in the White House, in the administration. In America? No? Not America? That's what your downfall will be.
Than President Trump having an assassination attempt. Because I think in the back of everyone's mind, when you are on a campaign, when you're with a person in that kind of power, you always think that could happen. For so many of these people, these Republicans that were close to Charlie Kirk, it really wasn't in the back of their mind that he could be sitting there talking and be executed in front of thousands of people. And I think that had a chilling effect. Mm-hmm.
You think? I think it had a chilling effect. Seriously? You think it's somebody getting their head blown off would be a chilling effect? And you think it's just a couple thousand? I beg to differ, honey. There's a whole lot of people who saw that and no, that ain't the way we're supposed to be. See, I knew all along there were good Democrats. I knew all along there were good independents. They thought there weren't. It was all lefty or nobody. And now we're seeing people like, wait a second here. I ain't down with that. I want you to imagine and put yourself in this perspective. You go in a supermarket, and that supermarket, let's say you're white, and you go in that supermarket, and it's full of black people, and they're arguing and they're being ignorant. And you're like, can't believe I got this fatigue. I can't deal with it. But all of a sudden, you see this dude punch his girlfriend right in the face. What do? See, if you're a Democrat, you look the other way. I know we as Christians and MAGA are like, oh, hell no. You can't beat that woman, even though the two of you might be on food stamps, which I hate that you're on food stamps or you're on public assistance. I'm not letting you beat that woman down like that. We're going to get involved. You're driving down the street and somebody gets hit with a car and they've got an Antifa hat. You're not going to just leave them in the street. You're going to go up and help. They don't understand at this point, this Charlie Kirk moment has galvanized millions because nobody who's got a right mind looked at that and went, what? No, it's not okay. It's not okay. And every one of these cheering moments and every one of these politicians like Elizabeth Warren, we got to talk about gun control. You're making people go, yeah, take that. You didn't have the decency to say, I'm sorry for his kids and his wife. You started talking about gun control. You don't think people looked at you, what kind of an evil witch are you? He's not even buried yet, and you're talking about gun control, and his wife is just losing it, and his kids are screaming, and you don't even have the human, never mind Democrat or Republican, you don't have the human decency to go, oh my God, that's horrible. You didn't see that from the Democrat side. You saw people crying, you saw people teared up, you saw people angry. And I looked. Where are all the crying and upset Democrats? Seriously? It didn't touch you? None of you felt like, wow, man, that's horrible. Nope. Okay.
I think the question now, and I can't answer it, is how do others try to move forward in a less explosive way? And we saw the reaction, and I don't know that you can count the reaction from people that were close to Charlie Kirk yesterday. It was angry. Mm-hmm. The day before was sad. It turned to anger. But that is part of a grieving process. The big question is, where do we go in the weeks and months ahead? And how and who is going to be the person who helps tone down that rhetoric?
And you see, that's the problem they have. It should be all of us. You shouldn't have to ask that question. You should see what happened and went, I am Charlie Kirk. I am going to work to tamp down all of this rhetoric. I am going to be that person. Dana, I understand where you're going here politically. I know what we do here on CNN, but I am going to tamp down the rhetoric right now. I think you were wrong bringing up Paul Pelosi. Let's not make this two sides crap. That was an awful thing. I'm a Democrat. I'm on CNN, but I can recognize that's a watershed moment. That's how I would have handled it. The fact that you have to ask who's going to do it, who's going to be that person that's going to try and make it right, means you're not that person. Nobody has ever had to make you apologize for something. You knew I screwed up. It might take you a while, but yeah, that was me. Gosh, I'm stuck. I should have done better. How do you not look yourself in the mirror and just say something that simple? I should have done better. That's all it would take to start. But see, their pillars that they built up won't allow them to, and that's why they're stuck. Hey, can I talk to you about my feelings about what happened in the 2020 election? Nope. Everything was fine. Hey, you're not leaving me any room. There's no place for me to go when you just say, nope, not up for discussion. Hey, I don't feel like taking 25 boosters. Is that okay? Nope. You're one of those people. Hey, I don't think we should be sending money to Ukraine. Nope. Don't want to talk about it. Either my way or no way. Hey, listen, I don't think certain people should be playing other people's sports. I don't think certain people can become the other person. Nope. Now it's too late. You've built everything on shutting people down. And now you ultimately shut somebody down, and now you're going to get what you get. And it's happening in waves, and it's happening voluminously, and they can't figure it out. Well, you know, at that point, I'm sorry for you. Not that sorry. Not that sorry at all, because at this point, I'm ready to keep pounding you into the dirt until the whistle blows and the ref says it's over. I'm just going to keep coming, or the coach takes me out the game. I am not going to go half speed. I am not going to lessen up. I'm going to make sure everything I prepared for, I'm going to exact upon you. And so either you get your ass off the field and bring somebody else out here, or you're going to be in for a long-ass day. Guaranteed. My grandson is gearing up for a game tonight against his biggest rival. And I said that to him. The team he's playing tonight runs a spread option, and he's a linebacker. And I said, let someone else worry about the halfback in case he pitches it. I want you to just look at that quarterback and let that quarterback know if you keep this ball, you're in for a long evening. A long evening. Because every time you turn that corner, you better pitch it, because I'm going to put your you-know-what in the dirt. All night long. No mercy. Taking no prisoners. Either take it or leave the field. Does that sound hard? Does that sound too harsh for you? Well, think it could be worse. You could be Charlie Kirk. See, he can't fight back anymore. He can't take it to the opposition anymore. And what he did, what he went through should tell you, I don't want to go through that. I don't want you to go through that. So I have no choice but to take the torch from him and go with it. And I'm pretty sure, having seen some of the things and he has said, he had the armor of God on, and so wherever up there he is right now, he's looking down and saying, don't strike back with violence. Do it with actions and words that show people you're not going to stop me. And that's what I'm trying to impart on you guys. It's just like, don't let it stop. I'll be right back. And by the way, silver is flying.
It's genius. It's pure genius. America is the country that started the AI race. And as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it. We're going to work hard. We're going to win it.
Why do so many financial experts call silver the most undervalued asset today? Because silver is essential to the future. From solar tech and electric vehicles to the explosive growth of artificial intelligence. Demand is rising fast, and yet silver is still trading at a bargain. With billions pouring into AI, silver prices have only one place to go, and that's up. In fact, silver may be the most overlooked asset class in financial planning. The opportunity for silver is well documented. The market for silver could double or even triple by 2026. You see, I believe in hard assets like this bar of silver. You can hold it in your hand, you can put it in your IRA, you can put it in your home safe, and relative to gold, it's very affordable. That's why I urge you to call my friends at Lear Capital and get their free report, The AI Revolution, and see why silver prices could be set to soar. Call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. But don't wait. We all know. We've seen it. The government can print lots and lots of dollars, but they can't print silver. I did see some people in the comments talking about, the Discord server that the assassin was on and things of that nature. But at the same point, I just want to let you guys know, and that what I need to say in that regard is, I was trying in that first 30 or 40 minutes to tell you what President Trump is doing. And what President Trump is doing is he's letting other people do the investigation. He's letting other people to decide, what is and what is happening, what's on the Discord, what's not on the Discord. He's focused on a bigger picture. And that bigger picture is, what do we do to move forward? I don't want to get mired into anything that I can't verify. I don't want to get mired into what was going on in the Discord because it doesn't matter. Anything you can see on anybody, the FBI is not going to tell us until they want to tell us. So understand, anybody telling you, this guy was saying this or that, it's useless. Control what you can control. Do what you can do. I mean, I know some people are just have a rabid interest into every single detail. Oh, look at this, look at that, look at this. He jumped off the roof. Was that a rifle? Was that? Charlie's gone. Charlie Kirk is gone. I want to focus on moving forward. I want to focus on changing lives and changing this country. We got police and law enforcement to dig through the details. Let's see what they come up with, because, it's only been 48 hours. I mean, it was Wednesday, so there's a lot for us to take a look at. Let me just tell you real quick about the MAGA Offers watch, because this thing is pretty cool, actually, when you see this. It's a little pricey, but if you like it, you like it. And if you want to jump into it, you can. Because sometimes you buy a watch just to tell time, but this one, it tells a story. This Trump wristwatch, did I say that? This Trump wristwatch, wow, I actually said that. Black steel band, solid red face, it's sharp, it's strong, and it stands out. But more than that, every time you check the time, it's a little reminder that truth still matters. In a world where everyone's trying to spin you, this watch is like carrying a compass that points you back to what's real. And hey, you can see it, it's honest, it looks good. It honestly goes with everything. Dress it up, keep it casual. For some, it's a daily piece you'll wear proudly. For others, perhaps it's something you'll hold on to as a collector's item, a reminder of this moment in time. And what a time to be alive. Either way, it's not just a watch, it's a statement of what you believe in. It's the kind of thing you'll be glad when you've got one. When someone asks you, where were you when all this was happening? You can just point to your wrist and say, right here all along, keeping track. So yeah, sure, it tells the time, but it also tells a story, one that represents the truth. And these days, that feels even more valuable. Get yours at https://themagaoffers.com/Barry. Watch or click the link in the description below, and you'll get a nice discount just for being a loyal viewer of Fanfare. All right, so let's move on. I think I'll take a break and take some comments. I think we've been going for a while and haven't taken any comments. All right, let's look at this. Where are we? Thanks, I thought I was a dumb girl. Once I get in here, it's kind of, my arm would be tired wearing that. It's so big. Where's that? Dana Bash comes across as a horrible, disgusting human being. You can't fix people like her. That's what their problem is at this point. Their personalities aren't allowing them to change, to realize that playbook isn't going to work anymore. All the Democrats shouted and laughed during the call for a moment of silence. Again, there are Christians who aren't part of the nut factory. And a lot of people looked at that and went, seriously? Did you scream and laugh because somebody wanted to take a moment of silence for somebody that died? Wow. Pray for the authorities to find sure evidence and make right decisions to carry out justice. Absolutely. Am I glitching? I'm not glitching. Let's see here. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm glitching. No glitch. Barry, I agree. Trump would right to learn the investigation and prosecution of Charlie's assassin. I want to make a difference and be open to learning how I can do better, which is all of us that we want to strive for, just to do better. All right, so I've dissected President Trump's appearance on Fox and Friends this morning. Rather than, I thought instead of playing like an hour's worth of video, I would cut this up into bite-sized pieces so we can talk about it as we go rather than just letting it play for an hour. So let's get into that right here. Where are we? Okay.
This was so bad for our country. Yeah, I think that I don't want to go too far. I'd like to tell you some stories at how it happened, but essentially somebody that was very close to him turned him in. And that happens when you had some of those good shots. Somebody is going to say, whether it's a parent or whatever, I'd rather not say right now. They're going to announce it today, sometime later, probably talk about that. But somebody close to him turned him in. You know, they said, whoa. It's interesting. We had very good pictures, but not great, not perfect. And when you look at it, what happened is somebody, and this happens a lot. It happened with the crazy Boston bomber. It happened with others. Somebody that's close recognizes even a little tilt of the head, which nobody else would do. And somebody that was very close to him said, that's him. And essentially went to the father, went to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic, by the way. And the person was involved with law enforcement, but was a person of faith, a minister. And they brought him to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic. And the father convinced the son, this is it. And again, I'm always subject to be corrected, but you know, I'm just giving you, based on what I'm hearing, they'll give you a much more active. I just heard about it 5 minutes before I walked in. As I'm walking in, they said, looking real good. They have the person that they wanted. So you have breaking news, don't you? Huh?
So I found it very interesting, two parts of this story. When Charlie was shot, if you saw the video, you pretty much knew he was likely DOA. I mean, it would be, even when I was talking to you guys that day, I go, it's very, I'm not a doctor, but I said, I don't think somebody could have survived that. And we kept getting reports on X that condition unknown. And I'm like, somebody knows, condition unknown. He's got a pulse, he's stabilized. All kinds of stuff was going on until the President of the United States made the proclamation. Nobody else. No news got out. He was the one. And it went out quickly because then all of a sudden it was on X, everybody saw it. But it was President Trump who made the initial proclamation of death. And I thought, wow, he must have put the word out and said, nobody touched this, this is me. And then today, I just found it interesting that they planned a press conference at 9. He went on Fox and Friends at 8. And he says, I got some breaking news for you. He was the one who broke the news. We got him. And then, of course, then they had the press conference. And then the other interesting part, by now you obviously know, the story is that it was a minister in law enforcement who then went to the father, and father said, yeah, he's here. And it was the minister who initiated the turn-in. And there's stories floating around that the kid thought about taking himself out and all kinds of things. But it was a minister that was integral in getting this thing closed. Well, not closed, but moved into the prosecutorial process. A minister. Very, very interesting. After everything that was said, everything we saw, it was a man of God who brought this kid in. That's too much irony just to be coincidental.
I hope he's going to be found guilty, I would imagine, and I hope he gets the death penalty. What he did, Charlie Kirk was the finest person. He didn't deserve this. He worked so hard and so well. Everybody liked him. I've been watching, even the left is having a hard time. They fired this guy Dowd from MSDNC, who's a terrible guy, terrible human being, but they fired him. I hear they're firing other people. And, you know, which...
Oh, who might that be, President Trump? So MSNBC is about to fire more people. Talk about breaking news. Where'd that come from? Who else is getting this hatchet? Can't wait.
About radical left. Now, they're a little bit, but radical left networks and cable channels, horrible channels like MS, I always call it DNC because it's, you know, somehow affiliated with the Democrat National Committee. So, you know, it's a little statement you make, but MSNBC, but NBC, ABC, CBS, they're all terrible.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks like.
Try to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
We are now living in a fascist dictatorship.
And we are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
Not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
How do you take that back? How on September 12th of 2025 do all those people who have been saying that over and over and over now want to bring the rhetoric down? How do you take that back? You've been saying it too much. You've gone nuts with people and kids and everybody else. And now at this point, you expect people to reach across the aisle? There's no reaching across the aisle to the devil. And that goes both ways. I do not want to get in bed or shake hands with the devil. So if you're at that point where you can't be brought back, what do? Well, you saw what she did. We saw what this kid did. They are now at a position where they have no alternative. They made their deal. They sold their souls. They decided they were going to say all these things about people. Now what do? How do you tamp down the rhetoric? You can't. You can't get on stage and say, well, we didn't mean he was that bad of a Nazi. No, not that bad. No, you can't be a little bit pregnant. Well, they try to do that too. What do? You're in a quandary that you can't even explain your way out of at this point. There's so much video. Hillary, the basket of deplorables, horophobes, we were phobes. How do you get that back today? Are your people so stupid where you could walk out there and go, you know what, we were just joking. We were just trying to say some political stuff. They're really not that bad. Nope, you can't do it.
You know, Don said to me, he's sort of like a son to you. Charlie got involved like 11 years ago, I think. He started, you know, he's a brilliant guy, but he didn't go to college. He actually started in college. He was so bored that he left. He would have done very well in college if he wanted to, but he was brilliant. I always said, you know, can you get a degree because you're sort of used to having people like you went to college, right? But he just didn't have the patience to do it. And he started this really during what would normally be college, maybe even sooner than that, but what would normally be college. And it's become a movement. And, you know, I won youth. A Republican never wins youth, but I won youth. I will tell you, TikTok helped me, but he helped me with TikTok. But he helped me with youth. I've never seen a person who's, in this case, older than the people we're talking about. You know, in many cases, I've never seen young people or any group go to one person like they did to Charlie. He'd go out to Arizona, to any school, to Utah, where he was, but any school, also East Coast, anybody. and he would have bigger rallies than any radical left speaker, and it was killing them because he'd have 5,000 people show up, 10,000 people show up. They'd go and they'd have 50 people, but they talk big league, right? Now, he was an unbelievable talent, but he was more, it wasn't really so much a talent. He just really believed it. He just believed it. He loved young people. He wanted to help young people, and he didn't deserve this. He was truly a good person.
Mm-hmm.
So you think...
So what President Trump described there, and a lot of people have been talking about it lately, is efficiency. And when someone is that efficient, that's why they become a threat. When people are doing something and they're succeeding at it, and they're becoming larger than you and your audiences, it becomes a threat. And so people at that point have to try and do whatever they can to take you down. And I'm sure all along they've done different things, like maybe pull the plug on a stereo speaker or have the media talk about him, and it didn't work. He was too efficient. He was too successful. And when you're reaching that kind of, not even that level of success, I've had people try to do things to our channel here. Once you get to a point, these mods will tell you, SV is so quick on the trigger because there are so many people out there trying to poison others. They will do anything to shut me up. They will do anything to shut Benny and Patrick McDavid, and Tim Pool's been swatted like 15, 20 times. They don't want the voice. You're not allowed to talk. Unfortunately for them, that is not going to make it any further. And there's a new, what can we call it? A new conversation that is beginning to bubble up. And I saw it the other day, and I told Ashley about it. I go, something weird is happening. And I posted it a couple times. Let me see if I can bring it up. That's the second one. All right, so where's the first one with Tom Tillis? Hold on, let me bring it up. All right, here we go. Let me first bring this one up. All right. Tom Tillis, you're seeing this refrain all over the place. As I thought, the new narrative has been deployed. Here we go. North Carolina Republican Tom Tillis is calling out some conservative pundits following Charlie Kirk's death. What I was really disgusted by yesterday is a couple of talking heads that see this as an opportunity to say we're at conflict. See, I no longer can say that word. That's another word now they have inserted to say, nah, you can't use that word. It seems like a cheap, disgusting, awful way to pretend like you're leader of a conservative movement. And there were two in particular that I found particularly disgusting. I don't know what he's talking about. But I saw that. And then shortly after that, this one came out. And I posted this one. And very similar. Confirmed. The memo definitely went out, so now we'll call it the conflict. Rolling Stone. What happened to Charlie has ignited a firestorm of anger, with many politicians and influencers excoriating the left and others appearing to call for retribution and even warning of a conflict. You can't talk about this stuff anymore. Oh my God, you guys are getting too popular. Too much stuff is being said. We got to shut you down. And that's where we are right now. Did I put up another one? Hold on. Oh, this one here. Crazy. This is from ABC News. I put, they really can't help themselves. They are possessed. While President Trump has called for an end to political violence following what happened to Charlie Kirk, he did not recognize or acknowledge the recent threats, attacks, and killings of Democrats. And appropriately, a lot of people in the comments on there were like, what attacks on Democrats? What Democrats got killed? They're just making stuff up now. Just straight making it up. Because Charlie was too efficient. Those of us who have microphones and cameras, we're too efficient. We're reaching too many voices, and they don't like it. So, raise your voice. Understand, this is freaking them the F out.
What do you as a dad, and a lot of dads and moms are wondering what to say, what do you say to them? So Barron's a very good student. And Barron came to me and he said, Dad, I'd like to meet somebody that you know. Who? Charlie Kirk. I said, what? I thought he was going to say, I want to meet like King Charles or something, like we're going to meet soon, right? But he said, really, you want? And I set up a lunch with him, and he came back. He said, that guy's great, Dad. That guy's great. It was cute. He's unbelievable. I don't know what it was. Charlie had a magic over the kids, and large numbers of them, and very diverse. Black, white. I mean, everybody, the young women and boys, and I've never seen anything like it. And it was all good. I mean, it was good stuff. It wasn't some of the stuff you read about where they're in favor of all these horrible things. It was really good stuff. And we lost an unbelievable warrior.
Love that he called him that. An unbelievable warrior. Exactly. Speaking of warrior and warrior ethos, SB sent this to me. Breaking. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, actually War Secretary, tells staff to find and identify military members and any individual associated with the Pentagon who has mocked or appeared to condone what happened to Charlie. They've unleashed something they can't stop at this point. I was talking to Ashley yesterday. She's like, her son, my grandson, is 16, and he saw it and was sick to his stomach, and his buddies were all, Democrats are screwed. Absolutely screwed. I'm going to show you some stuff in a little while to even prove that further. I mean, just big trouble.
I spoke to his wife yesterday. She's like devastated.
Of course.
But in between the devastation, they want to keep Turning Point going. Because so many people called in to me with donations. I don't know who. Do we give donations to her? Do we give it to Turning Point? Do we give it to, any one of the hundreds of colleges that he worked with or universities? And they want to keep Turning Point going. They think they can do it. He had a very good staff, I noticed. Charlie would call me up. I'm president of the United States, and I get a call like a day before. Sir, could you come to Arizona tomorrow? I said, Charlie, I'm president. I can't just come. He said, it's so important. Could you play? And I'd usually try and get there. He's the only one.
20,000.
Yeah, he was such a great guy that he had to end this way. But in many ways, he's bigger now because of what happened. He was really big, important. And I guess this doesn't help his family very much when I say this, but in terms of, very, very important, getting that such a good word, such a solid word. We have so many bad people, so many bad philosophies, ideologies, politics. His was basically just good. Family, he talked about family, he talked about get married, go get married. Sounds old-fashioned when you think about it, but he's right. He was just on. And it's a shame that voice has been stopped.
I want you to put down in your calendar September and count 9 months ahead and begin looking at what's going to probably happen in 9 or 10 or 11 months from now. I would venture to say we are going to see somewhat of another baby boom. I think people have seen the picture of him and his wife and those beautiful kids, and everybody at this point seems to be, young people are talking about getting married and having babies. I'm actually seeing people post that on X. And I'm like, maybe now is the time I should look at having a baby. I'm thinking Democrats are like, oh no. Yes, that's what you've caused. So many people have seen so many pictures of his wife, his kids, and how he's talked about, having babies and understanding what God has in store for you. And I couldn't believe, because I hadn't seen it for some time, where I saw women out there going, yeah, well, maybe it's the time. Yeah, maybe it's time to start a family. Wow, that is absolutely huge, as Trump would say. Let's continue.
What do you say to people who are saying they see the assassination attempts in your life, they see the Minnesota lawmakers, they see what happened, they see what happened to Charlie, and they're saying, what's going on with the political process? Now, instead of trying to get votes, you're trying to survive. There are lawmakers canceling their events this weekend, AOC on the left and a lot of lawmakers on the right saying, I'm a little concerned about doing a public event. As president, what do you tell them? I say you have to go forward. You just have to go forward. You watch it, as closely as you can. You have, I have great people. I mean, I have people now much better and far more.
Go forward. You got to go forward. The President of the United States, the person you voted for, just told you, go forward. Go forward. Stop looking back. Yes, I understand it happened a couple of days ago. Many of us are still sad, but clear the tears out of your eyes, splash your face, and realize we got stuff to do. We've got things to do. We have got young minds to help. We've got people out there on X who need direction, who need counsel. Wait till you see some of the stuff I'm going to show you. People you would never think are like, what is all this about? What is this MAGA stuff? What is this God stuff? Yeah, it's open. You imagine, Charlie's 31, I'm not sure how old Erica is, and everybody can put themselves in someone else's shoes and go, you mean to tell me he went out there on a bright sunny day in Utah to do what he's been doing all along, and this time he's not coming home? You got to live. You cry, do what you got to do. You got to live. You got to push. You never know when the next one is coming for you. And I don't mean that from an assassin type thing, but you don't know. And so you could waste your time crying. You could waste your time worrying about the Discord channel, or you can just look at other people and say, I got you. I'm here with you. Let's go ahead and talk. Because right now, there are so many people looking for direction that Democrats can't give. Opportunity is huge. We haven't seen this kind of opportunity where people are openly saying, yeah, I'm not down with that. Hey, what are you guys talking about? What's going on over that side? And you, as much as you're angry and much as you're mourning, have to, like, your job at this point is to go reach out to these people and go, all right, I understand you look kind of weird. I understand you got pink and purple hair and you got nose rings and you swear a lot. Well, let's find the commonality. That's what I keep saying. Find the commonality first. I would have been married 32 years at this point, am I right? 32, if I didn't find the commonality. I thought I married a southern, country girl. I'm like, hey, yeah, you want to go to the races? Races? Yeah, the Daytona, Darlington. You don't like racing? All right, let's go to the club. All right, then go to this one. You like disco? I hate disco. I love disco. I love it. Okay, I got over that one. Want to go to a baseball game? Yeah. Can we go see the Yankees? I'm done. I'm done. I'm a Red Sox fan. People never gave us a chance in hell of being together. Every time we peeled something else over, it was like, oh, you don't like that? Oh, no, I hate that. No. I'll tell you a quick funny story, just to break some ice here. One day, we go to New York, and we take Ashley to New York. And Robin wanted to show me, she knew I was from Connecticut, but she had something she wanted to show me. She's like, let's go to this fondue place. And I'm like, sure. Well, we go to the fondue place, and you've been to fondue, they cut up all the stuff and you can dip it. Well, Robin had ordered the cheese. And Ashley's sitting there, she goes, it's stinky cheese. And to this day, Robin and I still laugh and go, stinky cheese. I almost threw up. I don't even know what it was. It was so sharp and there. We didn't like any of the same stuff. Nothing. Baseball, music, racing. She liked football. She didn't like any of it. Jeez. 32 years later, we found that commonality early. And we found that commonality and said, okay, we got the core. All the other stuff around it, we may not have an issue. we have to just ignore it. Plus, you're a slob and she's a neat freak. So, yes, when I say so much of this stuff, 32 years later, we survived because we found a commonality. And because of that commonality, it's allowed us to continue. But at the beginning, you would have looked at her and looked at me and went, they ain't ever going to make it. No, that's a terminal relationship if I ever seen one. That ain't going to make it. Our strength and commonality was, for some reason, we had a ride or die mentality. I got your back. And I'd never had anybody say that to me from a woman. I got your back. Whatever you need, I'm right here. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm the same way. I got your back. And that was our foundation. No matter else, I got you. And so there are people right now on X who want to hear from you and go, I got you. You're weird. You look crazy. I don't know what you got that hardware up in your face, but I got you. And stop with the F-bombs. But I got you. See, too many people here in the chat and people who have had different religious experience turn away really quick when they see people that don't make you feel comfortable. They need you. You know, many of us who have done missions and done different things for poor people or gone to prisons to pray with people in prison. Well, you had a commonality when you went through those gates of the prison. You weren't a prisoner. You couldn't relate to somebody who shot somebody or killed somebody or robbed somebody, but you went to that prison because you had a commonality. Find the commonality.
And next week you go to the UK for a state dinner, state visit. You and the First Lady will be there with the royal family.
And I also go to a funeral for a great gentleman named Charlie Kirk, who should not be having a funeral right now. He should be out there in front of people. He loved doing it. He was so good at it. And, I mean, he had a big impact on the election. You know, I got so many young voters that no Republicans ever gotten anything close. I dominated with young people, and it's never happened before, and I give him so much credit.
You know, somebody posted something, where was that? Oh, okay. Rhonda said this, and she says, to me, most or many are lost souls. Well, the thing with that is, you ever go to someplace and forget something? And what happens when you forget something? Your wallet, credit card. You call that place and go, can you check the... Go ahead, fill it in. What are they checking to find out if somebody found your lost item? The lost and found. So there, you are correct. There are probably quite a few lost souls. But you have the opportunity to be the finder. And trust me, I have felt that way so many times. I'm like, these people whacked. These people are just absolutely crazy. But the thing with it is if somebody's reaching out, then they're hoping to be found. They're agreeing to jump into the lost and found box. I'm not saying somebody who tells you to F yourself or all kinds of things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somebody who's got nose rings and stuff and F-bombs and they seem lost, but they're like, I need some help. Okay, well, you're telling me you choose to be found. You're jumping in the found box. Now, let's see if we can work on something that I can help you with, and maybe you can't. Maybe their language turns you off so much that you can't deal with it. You know what you're supposed to do at that point? Call in somebody else. Don't give up. Hey, listen, I got this guy, Barry, and I think he can talk to you better because, damn, I can't take all the F-bombs. You don't even have to say that. Hey, let me bring you in somebody I know who can talk to you, who maybe understanding where you're coming from. You don't give up on the lost. The lost is the fish. That's, especially if that you get a bite. You're like, nah, never mind. I don't want that fish. No. You can't do it that way.
The only thing that's going to bring us together is tremendous success.
I understand. Is the message to the right, the people that are going to go, I want revenge, not to have revenge? Charlie Kirk would not want revenge.
You want revenge at the voter
That's
box.
where to go.
But unfortunately, we don't have so many ballot boxes because they have mail-in voting, which is totally rigged.
I love that pivot. I loved that pivot. The first statement was very simple. You want revenge? Win. Win. That was the answer. Your revenge isn't to get mad. Your revenge isn't to strike out. Your revenge isn't to cuss people out. Your revenge is to win. Win. That's the best revenge. It's always been the best revenge. Win.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
You know, how do I know that that is the cure? Because that's why he's no longer here. He was winning. They tried to stop somebody who they couldn't stop. And so they had to meet the ultimate stop. Because, as I was telling you earlier, he was effective. He was winning. He was taking these young minds away from them. Winning solves it. Winning is the revenge. And then, of course, he goes right into talking about voting. Winning. And pretty much that was it for, talking about Charlie Kirk. And I think people were shocked. It's like he spent a good time talking about it, and he immediately began to pivot the interview. Which is what I'm asking you to do. You spent your time crying. You spent your time looking up everything you possibly can. And now, I understand it's only been a couple days, but now the pivot has to take place. The pivot of trying to win in all of this, to seize the opportunity.
We got 200 people that left their jobs in order to come into the administration. And the Democrats are blocking and some of them are great. If I had George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, they came back from the dead, and they wanted to go into the administration, Schumer would not approve them.
They're doing a nuclear option, right? They're going to put about over 100 through?
We have some things that are very powerful that in many ways you'd like not to do it, but I'm okay. I'm okay. These are obstructionists. These are agitators and obstructionists, the Democrats.
I'm okay. I'm okay. Okay, let's do it. He pivoted. That was the last time he really said anything about Charlie Kirk, was that previous piece. Now it's like, okay, nuclear option? Yeah, I'm good. Let's do it. I just find it odd that the very next 2 days after Charlie Kirk gets taken from us, President Trump and John Thune are like, after all this time, we are almost 9 months into his presidency, and now all of a sudden, I'm good, let's do it. Which tells you it wasn't John Thune holding it up. I don't know if you caught that. He said, I'm good. Meaning, I'm now giving John Thune the approval to go waste these people. That was very important. He didn't say, I'm trying to convince John, or I got to talk to John and see how it is. I'm good. Let's go. Let's roll. You got the green light. Smash them. We're done playing. And I think that pivot wasn't by accident. You took somebody out who was very close to this president, and you're still talking crap, and everything you've done has caused America harm, and now he's like, do what you need to do. He didn't strike out in anger. He looked very methodical. He went to the New York Yankees game yesterday. He loved how that feeling of being back in New York, and then all of a sudden he's on Fox and Friends, and he's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Not, I hope John gets it. I'm good. Meaning, I am ready. Let's do this. And I think that's going to chill a lot of Democrats, because they now realize it was him who was holding things back. not Thune. A lot of us, including me, like, what in the hell is John Thune doing? I can't believe John Thune and Mike Johnson aren't getting this done. And it never dawned on me until that cut where it was him. I'm going to try and work with these people. Just hold off, John. Let's go ahead. Let's keep trying. And I think John Thune was like, now? No, not yet. Now? No, not yet. Now? Do it.
Look at what we did in D.C. We took D.C., probably the single worst place in the country in terms of crime. There's no crime. It's a crime-free area. I went to dinner the other night, stood out in the middle of the street, did interviews with you guys, but I did interviews right in the middle of the street. If I did that 6 months ago or a year ago, I would have about a 30% chance of being here to talk about it.
We're getting shouted down.
And you know, it's amazing. D.C. is now a great safe. Now we're fixing it up physically, too. We're putting in new medians. We're going to give everything a little coat of asphalt so we don't have potholes all over, you know.
As he's talking about this, again, this was 8 o'clock this morning. Just look at his demeanor. He looks very much at ease. He doesn't look, you know, like he's worried. He looks very much at ease. It almost looks like confidence. He looks confident. Let's go. This might have just clipped something in his mind. This may have been a stimulus for him to get going.
Filling a pothole is fine temporarily, but they'd fill a pothole and never touch it for 10 years. Right. You know, old potholes don't look good. We're going to fix it up. We're going to make it beautiful at a very minimal cost, and we're going to have the most beautiful capital in the world. But even more importantly than that, it's very safe. People would come from Iowa, they'd come from Indiana, and their son would be killed. They'd be killed. Mm-hmm. And now you can come and you can enjoy. I was very embarrassed because I had the president of Poland in, and they started asking me about D.C. a couple of weeks ago. And I said, we're very proud of the fact that nobody's been killed this week. And he looks at me like, you know, head of Poland. He says, what was that? And he said, well, and I'm telling the press, you know, they're doing the little thing in the Oval Office, our great Oval Office, our very upgraded Oval. And the press is asking me, well, what about that? He said, we haven't had anybody killed in the last 3 weeks. And it's been like 9 years since nobody's been killed. Every week somebody's been killed for years. And we haven't had crime. And they said it's down 87%. I said, what about the 13%? You know, why wouldn't it be? It's down 100%. Right. So you'd be very proud of your capital. You can go there now, and by the way, business is booming. Restaurants are booming. And this all took place within, we really did it in 12 days, but now it's better. You know, each day it becomes even better. They don't want to see crime.
Worried about the border.
They're saying, we don't want these people coming in. We don't want you burning our shopping centers. We don't want you shooting our people in the middle of the street. The radicals on the left are the problem. And they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy. Although they want men and women sports, they want transgender for everyone, they want open borders. We're going to Memphis.
That was what that part chilled Dana Bash earlier. He's laying it out there. He's going for all those pillars that they have put in place. Maybe that's just why they're really worried.
Memphis that's the next city. Deeply troubled, and the mayor is happy. He's a Democrat mayor. The mayor is happy, and the governor, Tennessee, the governor is happy. Deeply troubled. We're going to fix that just like we did Washington. I would have preferred going to Chicago.
All right, so I just wanted to stop there. He just announced, and it's funny because I was looking around, I didn't see many people talking about it, but he just announced on Fox and Friends this morning that the National Guard, they're going into Memphis, Tennessee. The governor, Republican, has invited the military into Tennessee. They're about to go in, and Memphis, good luck, here it comes. And again, what's going to happen? It's going to work. They're going to clean it up. And now people who just saw what happened in Washington, D.C. are now going to see it clean up again, which is going to put even more pressure on the Democrats.
Look, almost every city that's in trouble is run by Democrats. Cashless bail is a disaster. When they came out with that, And I think it started in New York, I have to tell you. But when they came out with, so somebody kills somebody, and the judge says, all right, we'll come back to trial in 10 years and, go out. And then he goes out and kills somebody else. Cashless bail has to be ended immediately. Sanctuary cities are a disaster. But it's a Democrat. There are a couple of bad Republicans places, and we'll fix them up. By the way, the Republicans want me to come in there so badly. In Utah, they have the death penalty. And you have a very good governor there. The governor, I've gotten to know him. The governor is very intent on the death penalty in this case, and he should be. In North Carolina, you also have it, but we have to make sure that happens. That was a horrific crime.
All right, so he's talking about what happened in North Carolina that some people may have forgotten or pushed aside after they saw what Charlie Kirk saw or happened. I just want you to understand those two incidents happening back to back like that, very visually in nature, are what's really combined. These things are going to lead to the destroying of the Democrat Party. That diminutive blonde woman who had not a chance in hell, and she got completely, I'm couching my words so they don't get mad at me, obliterated. Within seconds, she was gone, just like Charlie was gone in seconds within a week. And one of them was because of political, and the other one may have been political because you're letting these monsters out on the street. And he tied that together very nicely. I loved how he weaved that in there to let people know, don't forget about this one. Oh, you remember what happened in North Carolina last week? And all of a sudden, as soon as you think about it, you think of that little woman sitting there with her eyes looking up, go, why did you do this to me? The visualness of all these different things happening is what's really going to do in the Democrats.
So look at the stock market. We've had the stock market hitting record highs every day. Never been higher. People, last night at the Yankee game, the cops are coming over to me. I love the police here. I love them all over the place, frankly. Sir, you've made me look like a genius. My wife finally respects me. My 401k is through the roof. She said, she thinks I'm a financial genius. I made him into a financial genius.
You see, what's interesting is that all of this pain we've experienced collectively, President Trump is showing you the road that he wants to take. Some people aren't ready for it. I still see people talking in here about, they're showing the FBI at the guy's house or whatever. I don't care. I'm not in law enforcement. What President Trump is doing for this country is what I care about. What President Trump is going to allow all of you to do is what I care about. The minutia of what's going on in the prosecutorial process with the guy who did that to Charlie, that's going to work out itself. I'm not a lawyer. I am not a police officer. I'm not an FBI agent. And I'm just going to let them handle that. But right now, Charlie Kirk would want you to move forward. And obviously, President Trump wants you to move forward as well.
I call him Too Late. His nickname is Too Late. Okay, Jerome Too Late Pal. Too late on the interest rates. Always late, except when it came to a Democrat. Because before the election, he dropped the interest rates to try and help Kamala Harris, I guess. I assume that's why, because he shouldn't have dropped the interest rates then. He should have dropped. But he's a year late. And despite that, we have the best economy we've ever had. We have the best stock market we've ever had. In other words, what we've created is so strong. We have $17 trillion going to be invested in this country. Think of it. They didn't have, they had nothing. They had people leaving our country. We have the greatest boon in the history, and that's why the stock market went up 700 points yesterday.
Inflation is down.
Inflation's down. Well, I have low inflation. Yeah. He had the highest inflation in history.
And I know that there are people who are like, how can he be talking about prosperity? Charlie's not even in the ground yet, and he's already talking about we're going to keep going, we're going to keep winning. Because he also knows, because he was very close to Charlie. And he knows the best way to honor him is to move forward. You've got to keep going. Remember, though I walk through the valley of death. I said the other day, you got to go through it. And he's obviously said, you know what? Game on. Game effing on. Let's go. Let's go. We got a country to save. We are going to run through this. We are going to run over these people. We've got them on the ropes. I can't sit back and I can't believe what's going on. No. We have to. If you see the momentum that's going on right now, maybe you're not on X. Maybe you're not seeing so many. I'm going to show you. It's incredible.
But they have professional agitators. Mm-hmm. They're professional. I had one the other night. I went into a restaurant and this woman stood up. I looked at her immediately. She had money. She wasn't. They get paid for it. They're professional from Soros and other people. And we're going to look into Soros because I think it's a RICO case against him and other people. Because this is more than like protests. This is real agitation. This is riots on the street. And we're going to look into that.
The President of the United States just called out an individual and said it's a RICO case. Which means they've probably already been looking at it. Wow. The Soros organization is like, what? Yeah, he's coming for you now. See, I took care of USAID, and I took care of this, and I took care of that. Now it's your turn in the barrel. Here we go. It's time for the Soros organization. Let's do this. Absolutely.
We won a lot of great decisions. The Supreme Court, I give them a lot of credit. We have a decision on merit. In other words, this country is now a country of merit. You don't have to be a woman or a man or a this or a that.
You be the best person.
You don't have to be white or black or Asian or whatever it is. It's all based on merit now. And I wasn't sure if anybody would have the courage to make that decision. That was a big, big decision. When you go down to Washington and you see these people, they happen to be strong soldiers. They're big and strong. They don't mind fighting, as opposed to somebody that really isn't equipped to do that weighs perhaps 100 pounds.
And has a third nationality.
Now, see, I thought that was very telling. Maybe just me listening as a big guy or whatever. But he's letting you know they're putting warriors in place. And what he's telling you is that some of these DEI people, not having them. It's a completely different mindset. We don't want the DEIs who can't get anything done. We want people in place in these cities that if you FA, you're going to find out. Which, incidentally, if you haven't seen today, that actually happened. One of these newcomers decided they were going to try and run a car through somebody and injure a couple of agents, and they're no longer here. Trump means business.
Or sexuality, they be
correct. You could say it. I'd rather not say it. I want to see but it's based on merit. You hire people now based on merit. That's the way the country got great. And I give so much credit to the Supreme Court for that.
All of that was in the same interview. I'm like, Charlie, sorry, I'm going to go to the funeral. Bam, now let's talk about winning. And I went, whoa, that was, I watched the whole thing. I'm like, that was one hell of a pivot. And he's obviously not even cloaking it. That is a message to you. That is a message to me. And we need to understand what the person we voted for is telling us. He is telling you, let's roll. Let this not be in vain. There's going to be time to cry some more. We're going to have a funeral. It's going to be massive. There are going to be a lot of tears. But at this point, let's roll. I hope you're ready to roll. Be right back. Let me talk to you today about today's show sponsor, and it's Krill Antarctic Oil. I talk a lot to you guys about being proactive, skating where the puck is going to be, whether it's about your finances, your career, or your health. And when it comes to your health, one of the smartest moves you can make, especially as we all get older, is protecting your heart, your brain, and for me especially, my joints. That's why I've added Native Path Krill Oil to my daily routine. Now you might be wondering, what in the heck is krill oil, and what's the difference between krill oil and other omega-3s like fish oil? Well, krill oil is not like regular fish oil. Native Path krill oil is sourced from pristine Antarctic waters. No microplastics, away from the heavy metals and toxins, all that stuff that you want to avoid. It's packed with powerful omega-3s in phospholipid form, which means your body actually absorbs them even better and up to 2 times more efficiently than normal typical fish oil you buy at the supermarket. But here's the kicker. Krill oil contains natural asafoethan, hope I said that correctly, which is one of nature's strongest antioxidants to help fight free radical damage, support brain clarity, and promote healthy aging. That is a powerful antioxidant that potentially neutralizes all those free radicals and it reduces oxidative stress. Basically, it gives you more energy and it gives you better joint pain or lessens your joint pain. It's been shown to be significantly more potent than any other antioxidants like vitamin C and vitamin E, which I'm not saying don't take your vitamin C. You should continue taking vitamin C. Research suggests krill oil may offer several benefits, including to your joints. It may reduce inflammation and improve joint pain. I can attest to that. It may support cardiovascular health by improving blood flow and reducing oxidative stress. It also may improve your memory and your cognitive performance. And it also may help your eyes and may improve visual fatigue. I can tell you from staring at lights and cameras and monitors, yes, you do get lots of eye fatigue. And especially it would help against age-related macular degeneration. Skin health. It may help protect against UV damage here in the summertime. Here in South Florida, we get a ton of sun. And it reduces the sign of aging, like wrinkles. Other potential benefits may also help with liver health, exercise, performance, and your metabolic health. The science is clear. So if you want to support your heart, your joints, and your brain and do it with a clean, highly absorbable source, go to this website right there, getkrill.com/Barry, and grab your krill oil for up to 66% off plus free shipping. That site again is getkrill.com/Barry. All right. We got to go here. Got the ending here, but I want to share with you guys. This is pretty interesting. I think you're going to enjoy this.
But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last 2 nights. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire. There's no violence. There were vigils and prayers and people coming together to share the humanity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes, because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse.
This week, our country was rocked by yet another act of horrific political violence. Charlie Kirk, young activist, left family, 2 babies behind. This must stop. We lost Melissa Hortman, our former Speaker of the House in Minnesota, a good friend of mine, and her husband, to another legislator and his wife, shot 8-9 times each. We saw the assassination attempt on President Trump. The political violence must stop, and we must condemn it. No matter if we agree with people or not, we must return to civil discussion, and we must stop the hate online.
Well, something.
That's Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar, who was a flamethrower against President Trump, she has now decided she's going to step out. And she's going to tell people, yeah, we need to stop this stuff. As much as I have disdain for like every single Democrat, I was like, damn, she gets it. You're in a no-win situation here. You have to come clean and go, I condemn this, put my face on a video. I got to do it because this isn't just something that's going to go away. It is hitting worldwide. Watch this. I'm laughing because I'm watching people in the chat saying it's fake and they're muzzies. Y'all gotta break out of your shells, people. You really need to break out of your shells and understand who these people were and what they were doing. I challenge you to at least for the rest of this show, open your minds and go get educated to who those people are. Some people here are talking about it. It's the Maoris, New Zealand, Australia. You might want to go see what they're all about and what they were doing. That's called a haka, a chant. There are people in the chat here who really need to understand this tent isn't where you think it is going at this point. This is not going to be your Sunday morning at 10 o'clock type tent anymore. Most, and I don't know these men specifically, but I know that the Maoris have a huge Christian population. Huge. My phone's going off here because people are probably freaking out. What in the hell did Barry just show? And they were making the chant for Charlie Kirk. Rob is like, yeah. And if you don't know what I just said in terms of a haka, go ahead and Google that because it represents something that they don't want us to talk about. You see, they used to make those chants and those faces right before they went to battle. Right before they went to conflict. Because it goes back a long time, probably centuries. That was their custom when they met the opposing army. And SB is like, I try to educate some people here. He's like, yeah, you might want to go look at that, people. Go look it up. But I have to tell you, real quick here, if that bothered you, if that made you go, oh my gosh, then what I'm about to show you next is really going to bother you. It's going to bother you because you're not prepared. You're not prepared to deal with what Charlie died for. See, tears are easy. They just flow. You have no control over them. You get upset, and you start crying. But what comes next is a worldwide group of people honoring Charlie, looking at what Charlie did, understanding I need to change my ways. And it is incumbent upon me to tell you, wake up. Wake the F, or not. Turn it off and say, I can't deal with this. So I'm going to show you something. It's got some F-bombs in it. Try to do whatever you need to do to get past the F-bombs. But listen to what this woman is saying. And you're going to realize the challenge and the opportunity that's before you.
Profound is happening right now, and I can't stop crying over a man I've never met. I have never in my life been able to see so black and white, good and evil, like just right in front of my face. And as painful as it is to see even people within arm's reach of me, people I know, being on that side, I am so fucking proud of myself for doing the work to get to where I am, to know that I will never be as despicable as the people over there. And that is why I am where I am today, is because I saw this shit a long time ago. Sorry, this hits a personal note. I walked away from that fucking party a long time ago and lost my entire life because of it. So some of us have been speaking up about this shit for a really long time, and we're fucking exhausted. So fucking exhausted, in fact, that for the last few years, I couldn't do it. I could not be loud. I could not be outspoken. I just wanted to live my fucking life. But now, do I go back? Do I stand up and keep fucking going? Because there are relationships I have built again that I will lose. I will alienate people around me. And I know some of you will be like, those people don't belong there anyways. But that tells me you've never actually been alone. Because some of us have. And it's not fucking pretty. But when somebody like...
You hear what she said? You look down upon me probably because you've never been alone. Who knows what happened to her in her life? Who knows what caused her to put the big things in her ears, or to hurt the way she obviously hurts and have to get all those tattoos? That doesn't matter at this point. What matters at this point is she's making the turn and going, I'm going to lose a lot of friends. People aren't going to want to be around me. I'm going to be alone. You going to turn your back on someone who's alone? Are you going to turn your back on somebody who says, I'm going to go through some stuff here and I'm going to be alone? You have to understand at this point, this opportunity is so damn big. Man, you ain't ready. You need to start doing your own haka. Make your eyes, because you're about to step into something that many people aren't prepared for. These people are looking, screaming for you to say, accept me. I understand I'm gay. I understand I got tattoos. I swear a lot. Don't worry about that right now. Don't turn them off. Bring them back. Okay, lady. Let's talk. Just listen to her. She wants someone to listen to her.
Charlie Kirk gets fucking murked out of this world in a fucking split second. I've never been a religious person in my life. I wasn't raised that way. And some of the worst people in my life preached religion, and
don't be that person. Don't be that person. She's telling you what's happened to her. I've never been a religious person in my life. Why? Because some of the worst religious people in my life. Okay, she's been hurt. So you never see what's behind somebody's facade. There's a reason why they do that to their bodies and everything else, because there's something there. There's a deep pain that needs to be looked at. And she stood in wherever she's standing and making this video and crying, and she's telling you, I'm alone. I've been hurt. And don't start at me, come at me with all this, stuff. I'm not there yet. But she's still looking to talk to you. There's a whole lot of them out there.
It never made sense to me because they were bad people. But luckily I did have I had a nice balanced view. I wasn't like, all religious people are bad. I knew that there was good. But other than that, I have never juggled with religion. But recently, before all of this, probably in the last year or two, I've felt at least a curiosity.
That's all I need. That's all you need. Hey, what's this Jesus stuff really about? Oh, let me talk to you. Let me tell you about my Jesus. Can you imagine somebody saying that to you? I'm curious. Have you ever had the opportunity when someone has come to you who's not a true believer and said, I'm curious? Are you going to look at that person and go, well, you're going to have to need someone else to tell you about it because I can't help you, girl. No, you look funny, you swear a lot, so go be curious someplace else. Somebody, and she represents probably a ton of people out there. I'm curious because I realize right now, this ain't it. Oh no, I'm seeing people get killed on TV. No, this is definitely not where I want to be. I'm curious. And I saw somebody in the chat go, who is she? I don't know. Because if I knew, I would have already reached out. But I'm saying there are people like this. And I can't believe she put, I'm curious. You can ask any pastor you know, and if they say to you, I'm curious about this, that's all. That is the invitation of invitations. Come on down. We will tell you about our Jesus.
A poll, whatever you might call it. I've just last week spoke to a woman at my work about it. And we had a deep conversation about what that means, why I'm feeling these things. But as a gay person, you've been told your entire life you don't belong, but I don't believe.
As a gay person, I've been told all my life you don't belong. Shame. Absolute shame. You don't want even, again, they shut people out. Oh, you can't talk to them people, them Bible thumpers. You don't belong. Wait a second. Who told you that? Are you? Would any of you tell her that? Well, you look kind of weird. I can't deal with the tats. You're gay. You got these big things in your ear. You don't belong. I hope you'd never do that.
I mean, belong in religion. And I know it's bullshit, but we still feel that way, you know? So, like, you cannot help but be called to God when you see a man like Charlie Kirk assassinated.
Come on. Come on. You can't help but be called to God when you see what you saw. Charlie right now, wherever Charlie, he's like, okay, that's one right there. Yeah. That I didn't die in vain. That works. You can't help but look to God when you see. Oh my goodness, what an amazing opportunity you have now. You can't help but look to God after you saw that. And Charlie's like, yeah, that's it. Now do you get it? Now do you understand why he was taken from us? Because people always say, how could it happen? Charlie was already saved. He already had the seat. But he brought her. She's close to having the ticket, which is more valuable than speaking to 10,000 college kids. And I saw this and I went, oh my God. And there's all kinds of people right now who are saying this. I could literally do an entire show with people with tattoos and nose ring, and they're like, I don't like what I'm doing right now. I need to change. And I'm curious. And there's just not enough of us soldiers out there who are willing to say to this woman, can we talk?
In that fashion. Like, I don't... Because I think, at least I am struggling with how to redirect, how to channel the anger and the pain. Because I feel, we all feel violent, but the call to God makes us want to be better than that.
Oh, see, no more tears. Start dancing. Now you're like, oh, now I get it. Now I understand, Barry. No more tears. Yes, it's awful. But oh my gosh, look at this opportunity Charlie has provided for us. For every single one of us. All it takes is, hey, can I say a prayer for you? Can I talk to you? You look like you're hurting. You said you're curious. Is there don't have to push. I'm just here to talk to you. I mean, there's been people in our chat who have just heard us talk and heard everybody interacting. We would do a prayer meeting, and then people are like, yeah, I'm in. I'm in. I want some of that. I want to feel belonging, like she's saying. Whew.
Some of you would never fucking know that. You never know what that feels like.
She's true. She's right. I'm sorry, she swore. But she's right. You'll never know what it's like. You've never walked in those shoes unless you have. You've never walked in these shoes. And I understand if some people leave and I can't take this stuff. Well, Charlie took a bullet. Charlie took a bullet that exploded his head. Just so these people could come out and go, I'm curious. And you're looking away. Oh, I can't believe she's dropping F-bombs and she's gay and she's got tattoos and stuff. After I saw this, and after the thing I'm going to show you at the end, I realize now why Charlie's no longer here.
Doesn't mean the fight will not stand because it is on. It's just gonna be a different one, and I'm here. I'm fucking watching real close, and I still gotta decide where the fuck I fit into it, but you know, y'all can count on me, man.
We must stop.
You can count on me. Ooh, boy. Yes, yes, indeed. I'm here. You can count on me. Reach out to these people. Come on, Glenn. Tell me why Charlie, who Charlie really is.
Stop calling Charlie anything other than a civil rights leader. We need to plant that stake deep. It is time that we point out that what he was doing was not politics. What he was doing was trying to stand up for people's civil rights, to show people how a civilization is not a civilization unless you can have a dialogue with people who are diametrically opposed to you, that don't believe anything that you believe in. And yet...
Isn't that what she is? But now we found somebody like her who has what I've been telling you, that commonality. And the commonality that we now have with that woman is seeing somebody get killed. See, nothing else in our lives at this point. I don't have no tattoos. I don't have big ears. Big earlobes thingies. I'm not gay. And there's nothing that shows that we should be aligned. As I was telling you with Robin, she's a Yankees fan. I'm a Red Sox fan. She likes stinky cheese and fondue. I can't stand it. Yet we found that commonality, as I told you, and that commonality was, I got your back, and that's exactly what that girl said. I was like, oh my goodness. That's specifically what has kept us together for 32 years. Get ready, man.
you can have a civil dialogue and how important that is. That's our civil right, our right to free speech. And that gunman was trying to take that right away from him and from you and everyone else. Shut up. You will be silenced. You will not say those things. And there has been a force in this country to try to convince people that you don't have a right, that you have a responsibility to silence others. You don't. In this country, one of our main civil rights is we can express ourselves the way we feel we need to express ourselves. And I'm sorry, if you don't like it, you have to just take it and then say, I'd like to have a discussion with you on that. I'd like to know how you got there. I'd like to have the opportunity to argue against that. And you have that right to argue against it. And hopefully...
And when you watch Charlie at those events, that's all he did. So what's your position on this? Blah, 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 blah. Well, here's my position on it. And just went back and forth. And the thing was, whoever he was talking to here, thousands of other people were hearing it. Just him talk. Not realizing the person, even if people were argumentative, I hate you, the idea was discourse. The idea was, we're actually talking. You say, I brought you here. You came here because you hated me. You came here because you can't wait to just show up, Charlie. I'm a clap back. But you came. And you engaged in dialogue, which is more than most people even want to try. I want you to come all pissed off. Okay, let's talk. That's the essence of bringing it down. You're willing to have a conversation, which the news people and the politicians don't even want to have. They don't want you to have. The guy yesterday didn't want to have that conversation. But by him doing what he did, he's making other people have that conversation today.
If we are more like Charlie Kirk, we're having those dialogues with each other in a civilized fashion. But make no mistake, Charlie Kirk was a civil rights leader as much as Martin Luther King. I'm waiting to see the first city that will make a Charlie Kirk Boulevard. Phoenix, you should be the one. There's a Martin Luther King Boulevard. There should be a Charlie Kirk Boulevard. Charlie Kirk was a civil rights leader, and we must take that for him and own that, because all of these so-called civil rights leaders, Black Lives Matter, that was a money scam. That had nothing to do with anything other than money and power. Charlie was actually fighting for civil rights.
Wait.
So if you've noticed, I played Glenn Beck in one of his episodes, I believe, yesterday, and right after he got shot, Charlie got shot. You're looking at a different Glenn Beck today, aren't you? You see, the mourning and tears only last a while until the energy, the ambition steps over. I'm not taking this anymore. No, we got a job to do. And then, of course, people will mourn and cry at the funeral, of course. But you got a job to do. Now, some people in the chat had said, hey, listen, Barry, can we lead us in prayer? And I'm like, no, I'm going to let somebody else do that. I'm going to let somebody else who saw Charlie get shot. I'm going to let this person lead you in prayer. I think it's much more effective. And it might make you cry.
Girl, I wanted to come on here and talk about the death of someone I looked up to, Charlie Kirk. And I wanted to say that it is disrespectful how people are making Fortnite memes and talking bad about him like he was a horrible person. All he did was have boldness in his faith with Jesus Christ. Like, you guys are so mean to people just because they have beliefs. We, as Christians, we respect you for your beliefs, but we tell you what's wrong and what's right, righteously. But you do not need to be making fun of him because a tragedy has happened. That's all I want to come in here to say is it's blatantly rude and disrespectful to be talking about someone's death like he's just a piece of trash. He has a family, he has kids, he has a wife. You guys would want someone to respect you if you got shot, right? If you passed away, you would not want anyone to be talking bad about you. And I saw a video, I saw someone making fun of his wife too. Like, that's just horrible and rude. And today is a very special day to me because I hit 14,000 followers, but I don't even want to celebrate that because I just feel guilty that someone I looked up to passed away, and I'm still able to be on this earth. That's how grateful you have to be. So just stop making fun of him and just go. Like, just stop making fun of him. It's not even funny at all.
Yeah, that kid is awesome, absolutely awesome, and he's been all over the place as well. Man, it's incredible. That's all I got for you guys on a Friday. Oh, wait a minute, I'm supposed to do something here. Oh, yep, okay. So I've got to show. Oops, excuse me. What happened here? I guess. Let me try this one more time so I can show this to you. Maybe it'll let me, maybe it won't. And hold on. And it's not working. Ashley, Rumble's screwing up again. Once again. Okay, never mind. So I won't hold you guys up. What is the email address for Barry? What is the submitted video address? Oh, I can put that up. The email, the video submission. Hold on, let me bring that up. Oh, here we go. That would be. Oops, let me get that off the screen so you can actually see it. 1 second here with the Sunset Strip movie. Fanfareshop.org/submit video. Fanfareshop.org/submit video. A child shall lead them. What is the little guy's name? I don't know. I'm going to have to start finding out these names because people ask all so much. Dry your eyes. Thank you very much. Where does that go? Dry your eyes and roll up your sleeves and get after it. Get after it for sure. Absolutely. So I want the awesome show. Thanks, blessed always. Just try to get you guys to think. I mean, that woman it struck me because you could tell the pain, and obviously because of what we saw, there's a lot of pain out there, and that just means it's a huge opportunity, and a huge opportunity. BY says that's what I said this morning. They opened Pandora's box. Yeah, I don't think they realized it, and you can almost see it in their actions right now that they don't realize. Like, OMG, what did we do? Absolutely. Let me see if SB or Ashley has posted any. Oh, yeah, this is pretty good. Wow. Yeah, we showed you guys the Haka early. Look at this. This is in London. Thousands of people are coming together, united in their faith, joyfully proclaiming Christ is King. Among them, a heartwarming photo captures Charlie Kirk surrounded by his loving family, sharing in this moment of community and devotion. Look at that. Look at that. And the video keeps getting stuck, but they're saying Christ is King. Wow. Worldwide, this is spreading. Oh my goodness. They weren't ready for this whatsoever. They so weren't ready for this. All right, let me do super chats, and then I'm gonna go to dinner, and then you can go to dinner, and then tomorrow's football. I'll be going live sometime about 3 o'clock or so. So hope you guys can tune in. I'll post it as usual. And then if you want to tell your friends to come back and watch this, some people who may be hurting so bad that they don't realize that this pain is giving way to opportunity. All right, so let me go through these. Okay. All right, Big Pat. Is it safe to say Charlie was our modern day MLK Jr.? And that's so funny because that's exactly what Glenn said. Yeah, exactly what Glenn said. Ernest Walker, thank you. Charlie Kirk was our voice. Now we need to stand up ourselves and carry on the movement. Trump, MAGA. Yes, absolutely. Peaceful Haven Matey, Barry, that pendulum swing is turning point in real times. We have witnessed the hand of God turn things. We need to keep praying. Yes. Sandy M. The only way I can make sense of this is that Charlie's mission for God was done here on earth and something bigger is coming. The tears keep falling. God bless his family. Indeed. Kat, thank you. President Trump identifies the hatred and intolerance expressed by his radical opponents and names it for what it is. That's a quote by Charlie Kirk. Thank you for that. Fazul, Charlie's statue, every college are cut to money. Macon Blankenship, there's no peaceful way to bring the two parties together. We must take it by force with our votes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ruth McCurdy, soon a degree from Harvard will put the candidates on the bottom of a hiring list. Favosky, hopeful for the future. Me too. Captain KV, it's way past time for President Trump to declare Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. I bet you that's coming within days. Fazul, Obama ruined the kids. Charlie resurrected them. Absolutely. Speaking of the kids, I saw something by Mark Rasmussen today, and he was like, you given what this family has and will continue to go through, you forget the words, but he said you can do everything right. You can be a good parent, you can raise your children, and then they get on these college campuses and get completely indoctrinated and turned into crazies. On purpose. Macon, JFK, RFK, MLK, now CJK. Okay, I said CK, I didn't know his middle initial. Redeemed Patriots for Bibles, thank you very much. Calvin, their fear is from the guilty consciences. Absolutely. Tim McCurry, hey Tim, Donald J. Trump and Charlie Kirk Grand Ballroom. Yeah, he should name it that. Arizona guy, no one with right-leaning views would ever fire a shot. More likely MK Ultra. Ken Romolino, Barry, can you ask Amir Odom to be on the show? I don't know who Amir Odom is, but I will write down his name so I can do that. Okay. NPC girl, I always feel better after I have a little dose of Barry. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Hockey Gramps, we must keep our foot on the pedal. I remember 9/11. It didn't last. This has to. Yeah, remember I think I still have it in my dashboard here. Yes, I do. I still have it. As I said yesterday, it didn't matter what color we were on November 11th and September 11th, and on September 12th, we all were just gray. Gray. It wasn't black, white, African American, Japanese American, Italian American. We were just Americans. You're right. Maureen Roddick, the loss of Charlie has created a new turning point for America. Blessings to his family, friends, and supporters. I agree. Leanne Anders, I received my Bible. Oh, fantastic. Congratulations. Arizona guy, it's time for moving forward to take this hill. That's the attitude, bro. G. Fisher, even Colbert and Kimmel were kind of honoring him because the word on the weapon stuff were something they called him 1,000 times. Fernando Cardenas, dear Perry, time to drop euphemisms, time to reclaim our language. Enough, they hit you from upstairs, we hit with... I gotta believe it's coming, but I think they're reacting very, very strongly at this point because they want to try and stamp us out. Thank you, Al. Tommy Irwin, we are not descended from fearful men. Very well said. Just another knucklehead. FYI, YouTube is censoring chat. Doesn't like me talking about walking away from X. Claimed I was violating rules, suggesting the guy drop himself while he posted the Ukraine. Crazy. Cheryl, thank you, Robin and Mods, for the great shows. Bought some silver from Lear Capital today. Thanks for the info. Greg Jurgen, Christian Fight Club. I am Charlie Strong, Jesus Strong. Good for you. Paul Grob, don't be the other brother in the prodigal story. I love that. Peaceful Haven Media, one more important point. They want us to bring down the rhetoric. They don't think they've been using rhetoric. Yeah, exactly. Too late. Mama Mima, can someone confirm that the video of Tyler Robinson debating Charlie is actually Robinson? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'll look for it. Judy Branch, always enlightening. Thank you, Judy. Peaceful Haven again. Bo Sox fan here. You right. I grew up a Bo Sox fan with my Granddad ended up marrying my sweetheart 40 years ago. They say a girl marries a man like her dad. I was raised by Gramps. John's just like him. Good man, Red Sox man, die hard. It would have been so fitting, to see. I don't know who the Yankees played. I don't think they played the Red Sox though, but it should have. Salrak, there was an evacuation near the suspect's house. Also, can you read Super Chat in real time how it was intended? I don't know if that's how it was intended. I mean, real time? How the heck would I do that in real time? I'd have to stop for every single... That'd be almost impossible, bro. Let me go here. Okay. Starfleet, Romans 8:28. All things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Very well said. Hey, Christina, I was thinking of you and I was thinking, not because you were gay or anything, but how just being around people and listening to them brought you to the Lord. I was one of those who were lost and had questions. I found the answers here. Thank you. All my life is wonderful now. Love it. Love it. Bless you. Fume Drummer, the woman with the ears and the tats had a personal turning point. She did. Tania, thanks, Barry, for another uplifting show. Thank you for watching. Michael Clark, a prayer verse my team and I would pray before going on a mission. I'm a military veteran. Isaiah 6:8. Also, I heard the Lord saying, whom shall I send and who will go for us? Then I said, here I am, send me. Wow, that's very nice. Vincent, Barry, I wish the Pope would weigh in. Yeah, and canonize Charlie. He best resembles St. Paul for all he stood and was persecuted. Yeah, oops, what is that? A little loud over there. Donna, wow, is this revival we've been waiting for? It could be. It could be because I'm seeing those kind of videos like that lady everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Darluisa Segala, Barry, I'm in London on business. I will be going to freedom of speech gathering. Charlie has wakened us people. So it's happening around the world. It's happening everywhere. Brat Girl, thank you. Donald Donovan, Barry, that young black child is ampersand Forex DJ official. Louis Foster, thank you. Lois Foster. And Hulkazilla. Dog can change anybody. He's nudging at her heart. God can change anything. He's trying to get her to come home where she belongs. He has the right to tell somebody that where she belongs. Has the right to tell somebody they don't belong. She's God's child. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wait a minute. There was something up here. I thought... Oh, yeah, this one didn't show up for some reason. But let me go ahead and show it to you guys. Claire... Where'd it go? Claire Butterfield, God loves all of us. Thank you very much. And I thought I saw something else. Let me make sure I got it. Yep, I got that one. I thought there was another one in here that I needed to show you guys. Where did it go? 1 second. I'm trying to find it. Oh, well, it looks like it is not there anymore. Hope I didn't miss... Oh, this one. I was like, I hope I didn't miss anybody. This was from... Because it disappeared earlier. I don't know what happened to it. But this is from Tar Heel Patriot up in North Carolina for Bibles in Charlie's memory. Thank you very, very, very much. We're getting those Bibles out. Getting them out. By the way, I'm going to put this up, but I got to make sure that the link is on still. So if you'd like to ask for a Bible and request a free Bible, feel free to go to fanfareshop.org/Bible and get yours as well. All right, fanfareshop.org/Bible. I need to check that when I get off to make sure it didn't expire, so we're all good. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in on a Friday afternoon. I really, really appreciate it. And, look for these people. They're looking for you. They are looking for you. They're curious. Life has left them in a certain position right now, and Charlie's death has opened up so many doors for you. You just got to take it. Just take it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.